Hi friends, welcome back to Read With Me, LG. And I have another Berenstain Bears. If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I love a good Berenstain Bears book and I have quite the collection. So we're here with another one. This one is The Berenstain Bears Forget Their Manners. And as usual, these are written by Stan and Jan Berenstain. So we're going to jump right in. Let's see if this one's dedicated to anyone first. See. Nope, no dedication. So we're going to jump right into the story, okay? So this is the Berenstain Bears Forget Their Manners. There was trouble in the big treehouse down a sunny dirt road deep in bear country. Trouble with manners. The bear family's trouble with manners was that they forgot them. So here is the scene. You can see Mama Bear. And she doesn't look too pleased. She looks a little worried or unhappy. And you can see Papa Bear and Brother and Sister Bear all arguing. At first, it was just an occasional please or thank you that was forgotten. Then there was a rude push without an excuse me. Then a reach across the table instead of a please pass the broccoli. So there's Brother and Sister Bear. She's snatched the teddy bear from his hand and he is pushing her, and Mama Bear sees it, and then there they are at the table. Mama Bear wasn't quite sure how or why it happened, but she was sure of one thing. Whatever the reason, the Bear family had become a pushing, shoving, name-calling, ill-mannered mess. At the table, it was even worse. They were a grabbing, mouth-stuffing, food-fighting, kicking under the table super mess. Here they are. Of course, Mama Bear tried to correct Brother and Sister Bear's behavior. She tried coaxing. She tried complaining. She tried shouting. She tried going to Papa for help, though it sometimes seemed to Mama that he was part of the problem. Papa banged on the table and shouted as only he could shout, but nothing really seemed to do any good. So there's Mama Bear, and there's Papa Bear trying his stuff. Mama didn't like what was happening to her family, not one bit. Something had to be done. But what? The best way to fight bad habits, she thought, was with good habits. Then she thought of a plan. She got a big piece of cardboard and a marker. At the top she wrote, "The Bear Family Politeness Plan." When the plan was finished, she called a family meeting and showed it to Papa and the cubs. So that's Mama Bear with her good idea. And there they are at their family meeting, and she's getting ready to show them the new plan. Mama's plan had a list of all the rude things she wanted to stop. Beside each one was a penalty, a job or a chore that went with it. If you forgot a please or a thank you, you had to sweep the front steps. If you pushed or shoved, you had to beat 2 rugs. If you got caught name calling, you had to clean the whole cellar. The cellar's like a basement. So it certainly got the Bear family's attention. That's the list of the rude behaviors and then the penalty. So what you had to do if you got caught. So there they are looking. "But Mama," sputtered the cubs, "you're not being fair." "It seems to me," she said, "that you're the ones who aren't being fair, to yourselves or anyone else. That's what manners are all about, being fair and considerate. Manners are very important. They help us get along with each other." "Why, without manners—" "Your Mama's absolutely right," interrupted Papa. "Thank you, Papa, for your comment. But interrupting is number 3 on the rude list, and the penalty is dusting downstairs," Mama said and handed him the feather duster. So there they are, trying to explain, and Papa interrupted Mama. And that was one of the Things you don't do. Said Brother. This looks serious. I think we'd better come up with a plan of our own, or we're going to be doing a lot of extra chores. What sort of plan? Asked Sister. Well, he said, instead of just being polite, we'll be super polite. We'll please and thank you so much that Mama will get fed up and call the whole thing off. Yes, said Sister. We'll be so polite she won't even be able to stand it. So here's Papa dusting, and there are the kids coming up with their side plan. They put their plan into action. They were super polite. On the stairs, after you, sister dear. Thank you, dear brother. In the hall, excuse me, brother dear. Why, certainly, my dear sister. Waiting for the bathroom. Terribly sorry to have you waiting. Think nothing of it, my dear. So here are Brother and Sister Bear. They are being extra nice to each other, super polite. But it didn't work the way they expected. Mama didn't get fed up at all. And after a while, Brother and Sister Bear forgot all about being super polite and were just polite. At the table, pass the honey, please. Certainly. In their room, would you like me to help you pick up your toys? Thank you very much. In the yard, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump you. That's all right, no harm done. And it turned out that Mama had been right. Things did go more smoothly. Once they got into the good manners habit, they didn't have to even think about it. So here they are, being just nice to each other. And Mama's happy in the background because she sees it working. But it wasn't so easy for Papa. He was the one who got fed up. It's a little harder to change habits when you're older, and he had to do quite a few extra chores for forgetting his manners. I'm glad to get out of the house, away from the politeness plan, he said as he drove the family along the highway on a trip to the supermarket. Manners and courtesy are just as important away from home, especially on the road, said Mama as they stopped at a stop sign to let pedestrians and other cars pass. They help us drive safely. So here's poor Papa. He was having a hard time at home because he is struggling. So he's having to do all of the chores, or a lot of them anyway. So then, there they are, driving to the supermarket. And Papa said, good, I don't have to be polite outside the house. And Mama said, yeah, you do. Well, grumbled Papa as they all went into the busy supermarket, I think you can have too much of a good thing. You've got to have common sense along with manners. Why, if you let everyone go ahead of you at the checkout, you'd be here forever. And sometimes you have to interrupt. Excuse me, madam, he interrupted a shopper, but I believe you have a leaking bottle in your cart. The shopper thanked him for his help. So Papa is trying to make a point of his own. You see, he said, driving home, there's more to life than remembering your manners. Besides, manners are all right for cubs and mama bears. But we papa bears have other things to think about. At that moment, the car in front stopped suddenly, and Papa bumped into it. He was furious. Why, that pinheaded fiddle brain, he snarled. Name calling, reminded Sister. So Papa was too busy talking about how he shouldn't be polite or have manners, and then he hit the car in front of him. The penalty for name-calling was cleaning the whole cellar, so Papa gritted his teeth and remembered his manners. And a good thing, too, because climbing out of the other car was the biggest, angriest bear he had ever seen. But when the angry bear saw how polite Papa was, he remembered his manners, too. He explained that he had stopped short because a mama duck and her ducklings had crossed in front of him. Then he and Papa Bear looked at the bumpers and saw no harm had been done. So that guy was going to be mad too, right? But then Papa was actually really nice to him, really polite, And so they were able to have a nice conversation and realized he had to stop quickly to save the ducks. And then they looked at their cars. They were okay. As I was saying, said Papa as they continued on their way, it's very important for us to remember our manners at all times, and I want to thank you, sister, for reminding me to remember mine. You're very welcome, I'm sure, said Sister Bear politely. That was the Berenstain Bears Forget Their Manners, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me here today, and I hope I see you next time on Read With Me, LG. Bye, guys.